11 o'clock at number 16, Wake Forest traveling to Army. Wake Forest only favored by 3 points on CBS Sports Network. Wake Forest won 2 weeks ago, 40-37 at Syracuse. Sam Hartman won 19-32, threw for 330 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Christian Beal-Smith had 17 carries on the ground, 17 carries for 63 yards and a touchdown. And A.T. Perry had 3 catches for 137 yards. And yes, all 3 of Hartman's touchdowns. I believe one in overtime that won the game. Army coming off a disappointing 2014 loss at Wisconsin, where Wisconsin scored in only 2 quarters, and if they had not let up the 13 points in the second, they would have likely won the football game. Or if they hadn't let up the touchdown in the fourth, then likely win this football game for Army. Jabari Laws, 5 passes, 5 for 6, 3 for 87 yards. Tyler Taylor had 17 carries for 90 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Harrod had 1 catch for 36 yards. Wake Forest 11-5 against Army all time. Last game went to Army in 2016, but the last 9 had gone to the Wake Forest before that. Am I the only one that thinks Wake Forest is a legitimately underrated team? If we had... I like to point out the absolute double standard here. If Clemson had the schedule that Wake Forest had, and they were undefeated, they would be a top 10 team. I'm just pointing out, they would be a top, maybe even top 5 team. Right? Why isn't Wake Forest? Why isn't Wake Forest? I don't even, if Clemson had won barely against Syracuse and barely against Louisville, you know what would happen? Still be a top 5 football team. And it's just why is Wake Forest being so They're not even top 15. They're not even considered to be better than Coastal Carolina. It's such an absolute slap in the face for Wake Forest. I'd like to see them make the playoffs. Honestly, prove all these losers wrong. This is a Demon Deacons team that is really good this year. Sam Hartman's a really solid quarterback. Why are we not talking about the Demon Deacons more? I mean, everyone's focused on the Big Ten, and honestly, you should be, because it has a lot of really good teams. You're talking about Iowa, you're talking about Michigan, you're talking about Michigan State, Penn State, Ohio State. But, if we're focusing on the ACC, let's be honest, if Georgia beats Clemson, Alabama in the SEC Championship, I see that happening. Alabama's not going, right? Am I wrong? And let's say Cincinnati loses a game down the stretch. You really only have the Big Ten champion and Georgia's straight up. And now there's a chance that you could get a second Big Ten team if Iowa doesn't lose the rest of the way. They don't make the Big Ten championship because Purdue wins the rest of the way. I think there's an argument to be made there, right? But Oklahoma, I mean, it's just I understand that there's some pretty good teams left out there, but Ole Miss is ranked ahead of Wake Forest. Ole Miss has skated by some teams, eked by, and they have a loss. And it's not great teams. Tennessee's not a great football team right now. I don't know. I think Wake Forest is severely underappreciated here. I think Army's a solid team. I just don't think they're good enough to beat Wake Forest. Give me Wake Forest to win and cover that 3-point spread.